So here's a kind of a teardown and salvage video of this switch mode power supply that I got from that test gear that I just took apart. So let's just open it up and see what's inside. It's an unusual shape switch mode power supply, as you can see. It's not the usual shapes that you find power supplies, but it should be a interesting teardown to look inside of it, see what's inside, and if anything worth salvaging from this. Usually when you get switch mode power supplies, the things are things that are good to salvage are the switching transistors or the MOSFETs, is the capacitors, the inductors, and sometimes resistors. You get the diodes, which are good to salvage as well. You've got fast shocky diodes. The capacitors are good as well. You can see here we've got all kind of screws on this. There's tons of screws to open this little thing, as you can see here. There's no writings or there's no label on this power supply, so I don't know the rating of the power supply or the output voltages or anything like that, which is a bit unusual. Usually power supplies do have a label on them to tell you their rating and their outputs and the rest of the info, but unfortunately this doesn't have anything on it. Not a problem for us because I'm not going to use this again. I'm just taking it apart and just gonna see what's inside. Okay, so we're inside right now. So you got these capacitors here. These are 3300 microfarad rated at 63 volts, which are quite good. Bit of an unusual configuration, as you can see here. Got this board here that's got all sorts of fuses on it. As you can see here, this is the fuse board, which will come handy for later on if I'm making a power supply for myself. It's good to have this kind of a thing. Let's just open this up. Go here, take a closer look at it. As you can see here, you got 1 amp, 1 amp, 1 amp, 0.31. You got 3 amp, 3 amp, 1.6, and I don't know what this is. It's got 5000 H on it. Never seen things like that before. It's marked as M1. No, it's an unusual thing. Okay, we got here, got the fuses. Got 4 fuses this side and 3, and I don't know what that is. Never seen anything like that before. Might be a temperature sensor, or I don't know. Right? I don't know what it is. If anyone knows, leave it on a comment. Okay, so got these little connectors, as you can see here. Is that great? Nice. As you can see here, a lot of wires going everywhere. So that wire goes there to this little connector down here. So what we gotta do is, let's take this bit out. It's a nice little construction. This power supply. Get this board out as well. Get this wire out. Get this wire out. So we got here, we got a bridge rectifier with its own heatsink. We got a little transistor here. We got a fuse, two resistors, we've got capacitors, we've got a resistor, and on top of the resistor there's a thermal cut down switch, kind of like a, if the resistor heats up then the switch will shut off. You can see here, it's not bad. So I'm going to take the capacitors out, and I'm going to take the bridge rectifier out. So I might take everything out except the connectors, or I might take the connectors out as well. That's nice. Get the screws out, and then comes the main bit. There we go. Let's hold this thing. Holding this down. It's the inductor. We need to get this out as well. Yeah, there we go. There we are. So we got this little funky connector. As you can see here, really nice wiring, and this little funky connector here. You got some other connectors down here. These wires will come useful later. Okay, so we got here, we got diodes, we got this transistor, capacitors, we got two chokes, we got this funny looking transformer. By the look of this wiring that's gone, I can see that it's can handle quite a bit of a amperage on it. Okay, we got these are all Nichicon capacitors, very high quality capacitors, so I'm going to salvage those. These inductors, I'm going to take out the inductors. So these inductors, I'm going to take them out. I don't know what these are. These are inductors, I believe, as well, these black ones. And there's a whole lot of transistors, as you can see there, on this massive heatsink. So I'm going to take those out as well, those transistors. We got a couple of resistors, power resistors. And I'm not going to be bothered. I'm not going to bother with the controller. I'm just going to take the optocoupler out, and this little transistor I'm going to take out as well. I might take these diodes out, but I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to do that or not. And there's another transistor here. There's a power transistor. I'm going to take that out as well. And I'm not 100% sure about the inductor. The transformer. I'm not going to be bothered with the transformer. I don't think they got too many of these transformers on around. So I'm just going to cut the wire off. There we go. That's a nice little thing over there. Just gonna take that, and you can see they've got a little bit of a goo on them, which I think is all gone dry, so you can easily just with a bit of a push, you can take them out. These are supposed to stop the capacitors from shaking around, but I think they've just dried up, and they're all just like, you know, they lost their basically they've just they're not connected anymore. Get that out. There we are. So I'm going to use my little wires that I have and make life easy for me, and I'm just going to plug it here and go around this side, and we can start taking components out. You can see here, there we go, 35 volt, 1000 microfarad, high quality capacitor. Here we are with another one, 10 volt, 4700 microfarad. There we go. It's kind of like a common choke. And you get the and we can warm that up. There we go. Power resistor. Again, 35 volt, 1800 microfarad capacitor. Inductor, nice power inductor. Again, 35 volt, 1000 mic. And power resistor. And we got the variable resistor. We got 80 volt for the 470 microfarad. This big inductor here. There we are. 6 to 8. And got these little inductors in the here we are. These are inductors as well, I believe. Yeah, another inductor. We got these Zener diode. Here we go. Power Zener diodes. There's another one. Go, these inductors again. And we go here. Got 35 volt, 1000 mic. We got 22 microfarad. Inductors again. Again, a capacitor. You got power resistor. Another power resistor. And let me just remove this transformer tab. Okay, as you can see here, now we got all the transistors. So not all of them are transistor. This is a diode. That's a diode as well. That's a diode. That's a diode. That's a diode. So there's more diodes than there's trans. So they've got one transistor, another transistor here, and another transistor here. So we got 3 transistors, and the rest are rectifying diodes, fast shocky diodes for switch mode power supplies. So what we're going to do is just going to unscrew these. because they're all screwed to the heatsink. Makes taking them out easier. You can take them out one by one. There's a lot of screws. This dual power supply. Taking the transformer out is a bit of a boring job, unfortunately, because there's a lot of pins on the transformer, as you can see here. I might be able to use a solder wick to just suck them all out and then just take them out. So I don't know if it's worth it or not. As I said, I got a lot of them around, so I'm not sure if I'm going to bother with that or not. The heatsink is worth salvaging. It's one of those ones that gets screwed to the PCB. You can see here it's got 3 screws. So let's just take that out. Oh, there's another one. There's another transistor connected to this side. That's what's switching the transformer. As you can see here, there we go. That's a nice heat sink. And these are all the transformers, as you can see here. Sorry, transistors. You got 2 transistors, and then the rest are diodes. So we're just gonna put it back into the wires again. Gonna do it this side again. If it's on the shot. There we go. So I'm just gonna be really quick with these because you don't want to heat them too much. There we go. Transistor. Okay, we got a diode. I'll just clean the leg. Here we are. That's a shock diode. Add another one. So before I salvage these diodes and stuff, I'm going to check them with my multimeter on the diode selection and make sure that the diodes are not damaged in any way before I put them in my parts collection, because you know, you don't want a part which is blown and then you put it in your circuit and it's not working and you're trying to wonder why your circuit's not working. You know, you're scratching your head and then you find out that you got a bad part. So it's better to check them before you mix it in your parts, so then you 100% know that the parts that you got are actually functioning the way they should be. Okay, and is the last transistor. Here we go here. So that's the transistors done. And we'll just take the transformer wiring out. See, the transformer's got a lot of taps. And it's got a lot of wiring to it. As you can see here, I might be able to just go like this and trying to force it downward if I can. Oh no, it's got a little. Okay, as you can see here, it's got a little. The body of the transformer is soldered in, and all the taps are soldered in as well. As you can see here, it's got a lot of taps. It has. I'm not going to bother with with it. Unfortunately, I don't think it's worth my it's worth anything trying to salvage that. But what I'm gonna do salvage is this little transistors, which is just standing on its own in the corner, like nobody's paying any attention to him. This is on heatsink. There we are. And I'm gonna take these capacitors out as well, only because I like their color, orange. And I'm gonna do the inductor. I'm gonna take this inductor out as well. There we are. And these diodes, I'm gonna take these diodes out as well. As you can see here. Oh, there we go. It's a nice little diodes. I think with this power supply was there's no regulators on this board, so what I think is happening is it provides I think minus and plus, and then the regulation happens on the other boards that I had. So I don't think there was any regulation happening on this board. I think it's just providing the power. There we go. There's the little, if I can get it, use the screwdriver to force it out. There we go. The new optocoupler is being a bit tasty. Yeah. Well, I'll download the datasheet for this sharp optocoupler and then just test it, make sure it's working before I put it in my part. With my parts, there's a little power resistor here. I'll take this out and we're done with this board. There we go. That's what's left of it. Don't need anything else. You can go in the bin. Now we got this board, and we just see what this board does. So we got power coming in here. So we got AC coming in. Yep, let's see what's happening here. This is going. So we got AC coming in here. Two different ACs actually, I think it's coming in here. It's not just one AC. So I believe it's center tap, I think. So let's see if one side is minus connected and the other side is minus connected as well. So no, it's not. We got one plus here and we got another plus there as well. So now that's fine. Yep. So we got AC coming here, goes through the bridge rectifier, and then it goes through out through here, as you can see. So I might just leave this board as the way it is. I don't know what this transistor is doing here. Is AC08E P06. Let's see what's happening with the transistor here. The transistor is getting one here. Let's hit the switch, and it's providing power to this. I think the transistor is kind of set up as a switch here. So if the temperature goes up, then this transistor switches and turns the power off. So I think that's what's happening here, I think. So you got a fuse here, but if there's too much current being pulled, this resistor will get hot, and it will this little switch that you have here, thermal switch, will cut off, and then the power will be cut off. So it's a nice little board. So I'm going to keep this the way it is here. I'm also going to keep this as well. keep this little fuse board. So as you can see here, these are the parts that are just salvaged from this little switch mode power supply, and these are all the screws that was, as you can see here, these are all those screws that was salvaged as well. And you got these little insulators for your transistors. So basically, if you got your transistor, this is your transistor, and you're trying to put it on a heatsink like this, obviously what you need is one of these tab insulators. So you put it in here, and you put your transistor here. So the transistor is insulated right now from the tab of the transistor, insulated from your heatsink. But if you put it just a normal screw and you put it here, again, once you fasten it, there'll be a connection with this screw and the tab and this and the heatsink. So what you do, you put one of these screw insulators, you put it here, and then you screw this to the transistor. So at the end of it, once this gets tightened to the transistor, you got a little insulator from the screw to the body of the transistors, basically like so. So that insulates the screw from the tab of the transistor. So these are also good to have as well. As you can see here, I've got, I think I got 2 of them. No, actually I got 3 of them. Here we go. Here we go. So salvage 3 of these as well. Then we go into my little as you can see, I've got a whole collection of them, some salvaging parts from power supplies and so that's a little video. I thought it was going to be quick, but unfortunately it's 27 minutes of dismantling this power supply and salvaging some parts from the power supply. So until next time, goodbye.